Certainly, Mike had the best of the first half, and you've been looking closely at Bukayo Saka and Kai.
Quite interesting. I thought the game as a whole was good tactically, but I want to look at Havertz's position in possession and out of possession, because sort of in possession he was on the right, but out of possession, like he's playing as a number 9 here, and he's the leader in this team, and he decides when Arsenal want to press. Okay, this one, it goes long and high. Again, he's just biding his time, waiting. He's got Saka backing him up, and they go back to the goalkeeper, and then they have to, again, go round. But the most interesting part for me was these positions he was picking up here, down this right-hand side. And if you look at McAllister here, and we were talking about it all today, he doesn't know where to stay or whether to go, which then allows Trossard to come really deep, get on the ball. Before you know it, Arsenal are out. Lovely touch, and away they go. And I was thinking, normally you have your number 9 in the middle, them positions, but it's almost like he was staying behind Saka, waiting for the second balls. And all in the first half, it was the same thing. And it's almost like Liverpool left this massive gap in the middle of the pitch because of what Havertz was doing down this right-hand side. Looking at the 2v1 versus Robertson, I think, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think he's lost a yard of place. Is that what Arsenal were targeting today? Saka getting on the ball, getting involved. There was concerns of whether he'd be available, but he played a blinder again today. Again, 2v1, inside, Havertz staying wide, Saka going for the shot at goal. And then here's your goal, which is very interesting, and especially for me as a centre-half, because Havertz's position, he goes once, and then takes Van Dijk with him, then he goes up again, he comes to this right-hand side, Van Dijk marshalling, knowing exactly where he is. And it was interesting because Ben White normally plays right back, Partey was playing in there today, they didn't have the overlaps which you normally see, so it was like, can we overload this right-hand side? And now this is where Saka comes into play. He wants the ball in behind. It's a wonderful ball in behind. And then Van Dijk maybe just thinking about Havertz's position, leaves Robertson 1v1, and it's a fantastic finish from Saka. And it was just interesting seeing all that today. Now, look at the touch map in the first half. This is Havertz, who's playing a number 9, predominantly on that right-hand side, which caused Liverpool so many problems.
Yeah.
And then look at this, attacking thirds, first half, 53% down that right-hand side. And it worked in the first half, didn't it?
It absolutely did. Liverpool got back into it twice, and I suppose in a way, every team at the top of the Premier League needs a star man.
Yeah, and they've got him, Mohamed Salah. Incredible mentality. When you think about Mohamed Salah, I'm putting myself as a fullback, and I'm thinking of Timber, and I'm thinking, he's thinking to himself, I've got to be aggressive with him. He steps in here, makes sure that he wins that ball. Doesn't want Mohamed Salah to bring it down on his chest and get at him. But what he also has to do is he has to drag that Martinelli back into position to protect himself. So in the first half, he said to Martinelli, you do the donkey work. You do the work and get inside. Now we've got to try and break us down. And Mohamed Salah found that very difficult in the first half. But what we find in the second half is that elite mentality, that elite mindset of Mohamed Salah thinking, give me opportunities, 1 or 2 opportunities to find some space. Martinelli's caught high up the pitch now. Timber's getting fatigued. He was a doubt for today's game. Arteta brought him back in, and now he's starting to find little pockets of space. The ball's not quite the greatest at the end, but there's signs now that Mohamed Salah is getting in 1v1 situations. Look how deep Timber is in this position. He's 5 yards deeper than Salah. He is petrified of that pace. Starts now to fatigue as he's running back into play. Look at the running style of Timber. He's worried about Mohamed Salah running at him. Just keep your eye on the reaction of Timber here. Starting to cramp, starting to feel that fatigue. And this is 70 minutes into the game when he first starts to feel this. And then we get the next situation where Martinelli has to help him out. He's asked him, I'm struggling here, you need to step in. Martinelli does what he did in the first half, which is extremely good. He covers him. You see Timber now go to ground. And he actually leaves this field on the 76th minute. The substitute, Miles Lewis-Skelly, little bit naive, little bit of inexperience here. Look at the position of Salah. Always now looking, I'm going in that space. You vacated it. I know the space in behind. Now, Miles Lewis-Skelly does okay, but he's not sprinting back into that position. That's too far away from Mohamed Salah. 2-3 yards is not quick enough. Now look at Salah's run, darting inside. That one moment, that lapse of concentration, and he is on you like a flash.
Ahead of anyone else.
Just
Absolutely.
the mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset of, if I don't beat you, I don't care. Because one time you switch off, I'll capitalise on it, and he doesn't. And it was just brilliant from Salah.
Also, chaps, Arsenal fans not happy with a few decisions. Let's go through them one by one. What do you...
I probably agree with some of them, some not. This is early in the game, Havertz and Van Dijk, that battle I mentioned earlier. I mean...
Is that 2 yellows for you?
No, I don't think it's 2 yellows. I mean, it's a big game, there's contact, but I don't think there's anything
There's
in
no
that
kicking out as such, is there? It's 2 players coming together.
Diaz kicking the ball away. Arsenal have been done for this season.
That is a yellow, by the way.
Yeah, it is. In the laws of the game and what's been happening lately, it is a yellow. This one from Konate, it's really rash from Konate, but he just gets the thigh on it, just does enough. He goes through the man to get there, but he is very, very lucky that he makes contact on the thigh.
And the last one is really interesting. Just watch Anthony Taylor here blow his whistle.
Yeah, takes his time.
But it's not a foul, though.
It's not a foul at all.
It's not a foul, is it?
No, that's poor. I mean, I was really surprised when I saw this. Szoboszlai doesn't make any attempt to jump for the ball, sort of backs in half-hearted. Liverpool players are still playing because they think it isn't a foul as well.
But he does blow 3 seconds before it goes in.
Correct.
So it can't be given anywhere.
Good game, though.
Very good game.
Very good game.
Yeah, very proud of the team for different reasons. The first one because the courage, the quality, the domination, the absolute game that we wanted to play, especially in the first half. And the score should have been even bigger, in my opinion. So big chances. Then it's true that we had to make changes. They came out a little bit. We didn't have enough courage to play in the first phase more than we should have done. And there are certain very particular moments as well that I think dictates the results.
In my opinion, Arsenal first team better than us. I was of course not happy to concede just before half time, but I think if you look at the first half, they maybe deserve to be one up. But what pleased me a lot was we had one time less to prepare this game, so one time less to recover. We had to fly. And then if I look how strong we were in the second half, physique, and also the ones that came in, that pleased me most. And being 2 times down in this stadium and still get a point is a good thing, I think.
That means Arne Slot is unbeaten in his first 7 away matches. That hasn't happened for a century that a new Liverpool manager has done that. Liverpool then away from home getting a point. Arsenal with a lot of injuries in defence and a makeshift right back get a point. So do we say both teams are probably reasonably happy with that? You know, they haven't allowed the other to get away, as it were?
Yeah, I think it was a fair result in the end. I think Andy Townsend was right. As he summed up the game, I thought that neither team did enough to really claim all 3 points. Both teams, as you mentioned, will be pleased for different reasons. Liverpool away from home against probably a direct rival. Arsenal, all the injuries that the Arsenal are suffering from at the moment, suspensions to go with it, finishing, I think, with one recognised defender that they're used to in the game against Liverpool. So I think both teams, both sets of managers and players will look back and think, we'll take that and move on.
What do you think to that?
Same. I thought it was like a mini classic. I thought it was 2 teams trying to slug it out because we know, or they know that they think that Man City is going to be favourites. They can't afford to let City get away from anyone. Arsenal, I think, went into the game under a little bit more pressure. They wouldn't or couldn't be afford to be 7 behind City and 6 behind Liverpool. So all in all, I think when you look at the game in isolation, I think Arne Slot called it correct. They were the better side, Arsenal, first half. But Liverpool didn't panic. I think you're seeing the style under Arne Slot now where if Jurgen Klopp was the manager, that game would have been really emotional and a really difficult one to call, where Arne Slot's methods in the second half was more ball retention, more territory, pinning Arsenal back. They couldn't then recover. And as we saw, the way Liverpool played in the last 20, they took control of the game and deserved a 2-2.
And you've both been in that situation. Is it inevitable, Leon, with Arsenal, when Gabriel went off, so they're missing both their first-choice centre-halves, you've got a midfielder playing at right-back. Is it inevitable what happened with the flow of the game then, that Arsenal are in front of going, right, we'll just see if we could hold on to this, thinking about that more than actually playing and attacking and trying to get a third?
Yeah,
is that just a human being's instinctive reaction?
I think so. Your mentality, whether you mean to or not, does sometimes change. And it's down to trust. If you've got your recognised centre-back pair behind you, you trust that they'll do their job, they'll be as brilliant as normal, and you start going forward and leaving yourselves exposed, overloads in certain areas of the pitch, because you've got that pair behind you. When you haven't, you just start mentally thinking, I might not go forward, I might not make that extra run, I might just stay and try and keep a bit of security in front of my patched up back four. And I think that's the kind of thing that will actually help. I think it was a good thing to do. I think had they gone and left that back four exposed even more, I think Liverpool would have won the game. So it's a balancing act that you go through, but I think it's natural once those injuries occur.
When we let's look at the first goal, Arsenal's first goal and the equaliser. Quite similar in a way, isn't it? The way that the ball is played into the inside right channel, as it were, when you're the attacking team. Ben White playing centre-back today rather than right-back, but playing that ball.
Yeah, I love this pass because everyone in the Premier League now and around Europe wants to play possession football, where you keep the ball to feet and you generate loads of passes. No, this is a fantastic ball, a great run from Saka.
Just a little indicator. Saka's right hand just went out then, didn't it?
Yeah.
Play it in there.
Well, it's old-fashioned. It's the opposites, where Saka goes short to go long.
Yeah.
So you work on opposites as team players, you know. If you go short, you want the ball in behind. Andy Robertson is a little bit guilty of allowing Saka to drop inside of him. Having said that, it was brilliant skill from Bukayo Saka. And you know, he made that finish he made the run and the finish look very easy.
And for 2-2 here, Martinez doesn't quite get it under control, Leon, but, you know, we've seen this so many times. Alexander-Arnold, the picture's in front of him, he knows what he's going to do.
Oh, absolutely, and this is a stunning pass. It really is. I mean, yeah, maybe Saliba and Gabriel may have been able to handle it differently, but, you know, how simple he makes such a difficult pass.
That's a harder pass.
Yeah, that is a difficult pass on the move. I thought for a moment Darwin Núñez had stumbled and hadn't been able to make that pass, but he actually gets it right perfectly into the path of Mo Salah.
What's interesting about that pass is it teases Kiwior to think he can cut it out. In a way, he would have been better off just leaving it and then trying to mark in the middle when Salah does a little bet switch.
Yeah, Ben White's pass has got more margin for error.
Yes.
So even though it looks a difficult pass, which it is, you've got about 10 yards to either be 10 yards short, 10 yards long, because Saka's going to get on the end of it. With Trent's pass, he's got to make sure he's dropping it between left back, left-sided centre-half, keeping it away from the goalkeeper at the same time, so the weight has to be perfect, and perfect for Darwin Núñez to run onto. So, all in all, I mean, two fantastic passes in the game, and old-school passes going in behind.
Oh, yes! Knocking in behind. So, from your point of view, having played for Liverpool, as I said, unbeaten in 7 away. They beat Chelsea last weekend. They've got a good point at the Emirates. The Man City games in December, the beginning of December. There is absolutely no reason at all, is there, on Merseyside,
no,
why Liverpool shouldn't think we can run, whoever it is, we could go very close to winning this.
To be honest, Mark, I thought that before a ball was kicked, because everyone was looking at, I think, the work that Arsenal have done over the last 18 months and surmising they're going to be the closest title challengers. But don't forget, Liverpool were 5 points clear last season. It was only the tail end of last season when Liverpool fell off for a few bad results. But the squad's there. Yes, the new manager's come in and tweaked things slightly, but I loved what he had to say even before a ball was kicked, when everyone was saying, where's the signings, where's the signings? Everyone's strengthened. And he went, how do I buy better than Mo Salah? How do I buy better than Trent Alexander-Arnold? How do I buy better than Virgil van Dijk and Alisson? So the players that Jurgen Klopp left behind is a little bit different from when Sir Alex left a few of the Man United players behind and Arsene Wenger with Arsenal. So he left them in a really healthy position, and then he just added one or two things and tweaked one or two things, and you're looking at a different Liverpool, but title contenders for sure.
He couldn't have started any better. I mean, yes, as Don just said, he's gone in after a brilliant spell. The club's been set up wonderfully, but you still have to get the team on side. You still have to get the squad to believe in what you're doing. Go out there, play the football he wants to, pick up the results. And everything just seems really easy for Liverpool at the moment. Not that it is easy, but they're making it look easy. That it's
up there.
It's up there, yeah. And it's different for what's happening with Arsenal at the moment, because I think everything's a fight for Arsenal. They're fighting themselves. They're fighting red cards. They're fighting against injuries to try and stay in this race. For Liverpool, it just seems really easy at the moment.
Well, you know Mikel Arteta very well. You play with him at Everton. So what do you think his reaction to what's going on at the moment will be? Everyone has to deal with injuries. There's no point moaning about it. But today, one self-imposed Saliba, one not Odegaard, missing two of their best three players. Calafiori was injured, so Timber came in and played at left-back, which is no problem with that, but Partey had to play at right-back. Then you get the injury to Gabriel. How do you think he will be looking at it all? Bearing in mind, you're right, they haven't hit any sort of real rhythm yet this season.
I think he'll feel that everything's against him at the moment. I think that...
But when you feel that, surely you feel it'll turn in your favour.
Yeah, but I think it's his job to try and now block that out from the team. What you don't want to do is have that kind of mentality sort of come into your team that no matter how hard we try, things are transpiring to go against us. You need to use these situations to galvanise the team to say, once we get through this moment, imagine how good we could be. So I think he'll be fighting his own instincts to try and stay positive at the moment to make sure Arsenal keep moving forward.
Yeah, they're in a patch now where I know, as managers and as players, we look always at the block of fixtures and you try to navigate where potentially you're going to go on a mini run. While Arsenal have got it all on because they go to St James's Park next, they go to San Siro after that, and then they go to Chelsea. Yep. So it's a period of games where they've got to be very careful they don't lose too many of them, otherwise City might get away from them.
That we can come back into the game 2 times, especially with 1 day less to recover, having an away leg in Europe against Leipzig, and then to be maybe stronger in the second half than the first half. That is what pleases me. In the end, you go here also to win, but maybe a draw was a result we can take with us to next week.
Very disappointing not to win it, because when you look at the big chances that we generated, the team played so well. We were dominant, we were very determined, very clear what we have to attack, really aggressive after losing the ball. We play in the right areas, we created some big chances. You have to be more clinical. The way we concede the second goal is we are open in transition to finish an action. 10 seconds later you concede a goal.
They scoring the 2-1 before the break is obviously a big boost for them. Second half, obviously, we scored deservedly the equaliser, and we tried to keep pushing. And in the end, I think it's a fair result, of course, and we move on.
I'm happy to be back. I hate missing games, so it was really frustrating being out. But I did everything to come back for this game, and yeah, I was happy to be back on the pitch.
Your 50th league goal for Arsenal, you're the youngest player ever to do that. It's a lovely landmark.
Yeah, it's a nice landmark, and it was a great ball and great goal too. I haven't seen it back, but it did feel nice in the moment.
That little movement from Luis Diaz, just getting in front of Kai Havertz, I think that's where the flick on came from, and then all you've got to do really is just get something on it.
Yeah, it's very easy, isn't it? You can do it, I think, as well then.
I'm not sure if Steve would actually score, though. Good to see you, chaps.